what does advocacy mean to me in particular? Now more than ever, I think it's really highlighted for me as a person the need for more and more people to be vocal about what they're seeing, what they're hearing, what they're experiencing. So in terms of cannabis specifically and NORML, I mean, NORML were the grandfathers of pushing for this portion of the conversation in terms of normalizing our experience, normalizing how people saw us, primarily because I think it was a lot of white guys. So it didn't make people so scared to see, you know, a group of white guys pushing for what they felt was their inherent freedom as individuals. So it's difficult because it's not as much advocacy right now as it's being that activist.
Right.
And while, you know, we can't be loud and have bullhorns and do all of the things that we need to do to express ourselves the way that we typically do, we're still seeing it actively happen. So we're seeing a lot of activism. So for me, I think activism is a part of my personal healing. You know, somebody who's been system impacted, who's somebody who knows what the war on drugs looks like firsthand, and somebody who loves this plant and who this plant is their medicine, and who's seen this plant save so many people's lives in particular. So I think, for me personally, like, I'm okay with being an activist. It makes me respect myself. And it affords me that opportunity to be able to advocate in ways that are, I guess for me personally, not so attached to some of the institutions and systems that we know are broken. I know I see another question coming in.
And why do we need advocacy right now? Why do we
needed more advocacy in terms of, you know, what do we need and why do we need it? Like now more than ever, I mean, cannabis is considered an essential business, but part of that essentialness is for us, those of us who consume it regularly, those of us who have a personal relationship with this plant in particular, see it one way, and we know that it's helping us, and we know that it's healing, and when we see other people who are consuming it, we also believe that they're reaching for that. But in reality, it's just this tax windfall, and it's money in most municipalities across this country that hasn't really been accounted for. It goes into many general funds. It doesn't necessarily go to some of its intention. So I think now, more than ever, it's an opportunity for those of us who believe in the power of this plant, believe in this industrial revolution's opportunity to help us grow and to build and to create something we didn't even imagine that we could. Now it's that time for those of us who are advocates and activists to really dig deep and dream, like, what have you dreamt of seeing happen in cannabis and in marijuana, like, and just push it. I was in one of the presenter rooms and somebody was talking about we needed more young people. So it's kind of like, you know, for those of us who are older or who could have been parents to somebody in their early 20s like myself, it's also time for those of us to become mentors to people and to take those people who are under our wings and like help guide them, because right now we need as many people as possible, like advocating for this plant, advocating for her freedom, because she's not free. She's taxed. She's been hoarded out so much, and it's so crazy to see how bad she's been hoarded out, to not be cognizant of at the same time that, like, man, as every inch that we get, they take it back from us. So we're always going to have to keep pushing and keep telling people our stories.
And if you could change any one thing to make advocacy work,
I think if I could change anything right now, and I think what the industry needs to change, and maybe not right now, because right now we're experiencing the pandemic and this major health that's occurring right now, but downstream, if we're to truly be successful as a community, to be acknowledged for who we are, for being just another human that's having an experience, and an industry who wants to actually capitalize on the potential of this plant. I'd say all of those people who are the consumers are going to need to be more active in letting people know what they need, what they want, how they want it, and shop their values. And we need to start seeing people in the industry start respecting those of us who are advocates, who have to go and have conversations time and time again with elected officials, government agencies, to get past the stigma and perception that our community is so riddled with. So I think it's going to take revolutionary things like that. It's going to take revolutionary things like in Los Angeles, where we have a group of people who are suing the city of Los Angeles right now because things aren't fair. So we're going to need as many people in as many conversations talking about this this better world that we want to create, because nobody's really talking about that. And that's the thing that's missing for our success as a whole, in my humble opinion. Like, if we want to make friends, all of these other communities, whether it's just people who need to be healed, or you see it as people who can exchange that energy, which is going to be dollars, then you're going to have to treat them with more respect and with more kindness and with more love.
I love that. Thank you so very, very, very much for coming on with us, Felicia. And especially dealing with these technical difficulties as well, because we had to switch over from their old room that we got kicked out of. But much love to you. Thank you for all the work that you do. And, you know, I got nothing but love for you. And I'll see you in the session in just a second here.